Namaste and peace be upon you, friends. Hello and welcome. I wanted to talk to you today about the collective shadow work journey and spiritual awakening that is really undeniably unfolding right now. There's very heavy grief and stress and trauma in the ethers, in your life, most likely, definitely in the collective. And it's been such a long time since I showed up. I felt like very guided to just bring forward to you some of the messages that have been coming through and say hello, check in to see how you're doing, and let you know that I am busy working to create some resources, some energetic spaces for us to go to, because I have much to say, but not everything is really meant to be said here, if you know what I mean. We need a more private community in which to really truly unpack some of what's going on. But for starters, I would just like to welcome you in and to just take a nice deep breath into your heart as we show up today for one another. What I want to share is about our nervous systems and how it might feel kind of like a conspiracy theory is a little bit coming true right now in maybe the worst way, in that it's very possible. What my guides have been communicating to me is that we are in this period of time where our own nervous systems, our energetics, are being used against us. One might call that spiritual warfare. I don't know if that's safe to say here. It's definitely psychological and psychic attacks energetically. And it's incredibly important now more than ever. There is almost, what I've been hearing from my guides is it is a political statement and an energetic revolution to really become embodied in how to work with your own energy, how to clear your field, how to disconnect any open energetic cords, ties, influences, come into your own energetic frequency and to move from that space, to continue to move from that space, that it's more important now than ever that we are really grounded in our own heart-centered frequencies of love. And the journey, the focus is inward. I know that sounds a little oxymoronic given the circumstances, but let me explain that just a little. Let me unpack that just a moment. The guidance is that if we don't each do our own individual shadow work, whatever might be coming up for us individually, that we aren't able to come from the right space energetically to then pour from a full cup and go out into the world and create some profound changes, which is what's needed. You know, and the astrology has warned us, has spoken about the dismantling of the structures at a very deep level for the last 3+ years. And what we are seeing is we are seeing the aspects of the what I would consider the more shadow aspects, the more toxic masculinity of the patriarchal paradigm is really speaking loudly right now as it comes down. And so that can be very distracting from an energetic level because it's easy for us to believe that that is the truth and that's the only thing that's happening. But what we're not really aware of is that what my guides are wanting to talk about and share is that energy is neither created nor destroyed. We are our own sovereign vessel. If you want to think of yourself as a complete, this is a heart, but think of this as a complete circle. And you are inside of that. This is your energetic aura. Let's just pretend you're inside of this, your body, your heart center being the very center spot. And as this energetic vessel, you radiate out your own heart-centered frequency. And right now, it's very important that we are choosing to radiate out from love, from a place of embodied, grounded, clear, boundaried, at times, love. Love of what we stand for, clear on our beliefs, clear on our values, clear on our own sovereignty and self-worth and agency, and the world that we want to create and participate in. And it's more critical now, more than ever, that we hold that space. And the reason for that is that those of us who are able to, and this is not to say this in a way to create a hierarchical idea of someone's more enlightened, and carries, a greater, i.e., better than vibration. That's not what it is. It's when someone is in heart-mind coherence, their energetic aura and field is able to hold that field 750,000 times stronger than if we are in a disordered state energetically. So when we each clear our field, when we are very grounded in the truth of our own authenticity and our frequency, and we're moving through the world in alignment with our truth, what we are then broadcasting out, so to speak, from every beat of our heart is that frequency of love that we are then embodying. And we're holding that frequency. And our guides right now are all around us. They're helping us to create and to shift into this space. And they're really speaking to the fact that there is this incredible polarity that's available to us. That when structures and systems do fall down, when they begin to dismantle, what happens is the energetic components are then available for us to create from, to manifest the new from, to work with. And so throughout this incredible awakening experience, it's also a very deep, dark night of the soul. If anyone is familiar with tarot at all, this is the embodiment of the Tower card. It is walking with those 9 swords, being the wounded warrior and continuing to persevere despite the incoming stress and strain to our own nervous systems. But what we are being guided to do is this is almost like a trust exercise in faith, to expand the faith of our belief of what's possible when we are grounded and when we move through life, but specifically this period of time in a space of love. And that many of us have incarnated on purpose during this time to show up, to be here, to be leaders, to hold these embodied frequencies and to help create the new path forward. And that can be very daunting for many of us, myself included, which is why I haven't been here for a while, because I'm also going through it. It's been incredibly grieving. And what starts to happen is things in your life will begin to fall away. Things that are no longer in alignment with you will begin to shift and change out of your life. Relationships shift and change, the quality of the relationships. Some of the soul contracts that we each have with one another are ending. And as they end, if we're not saying our goodbyes, easefully and within the flow of the universe, what can happen is they can start to shift into karmic contracts with one another and show up in more unhealthy ways. And as this continued light that I believe is really deeply in relationship to both the end of the Kali Yuga within the Yuga cycle, but also these solar flares that have been so intense and so incredible, going on for over a year. This incoming light is coming in as higher levels of consciousness, and it's shifting us each energetically at a cellular level, even more finite than the cell itself, at a very, photonic level. And it's doing so through plasma light. The frequency, the intelligence is far greater than we have the ability to fully comprehend at this point. But there are those that are researching it. I believe one person's name is Dr. David Clements, is talking about this, our light bodies becoming activated. But truly, when that happens, what is also happening is our intuitive senses are coming online, our psychic senses are being enhanced, they're opening, and they sort of bloom like a flower or a rose would bloom. And a lot of the teachings that have come to me and were the actual inspiration for this channel initially were all intuitively channeled through deep meditation, but they are filtered through a very steeped lens of education and knowledge of ancient wisdom and ancient practices that do blend with some more modern practices, that includes my background in social welfare and in social work. When I began my journey, that's where I started. And I was fascinated with trauma and how it really went so deeply into each of our lives. And I had this deep knowing from almost a young child that we are able to heal and change on our own. And so it's almost been this interesting quest that I've been on since a very young age to sort of peer into all these subjects that at the time I didn't think were related. And as an adult, I understand that there is this incredible interconnected web, um, where it's all energetics, understanding how to do energy healing also intersects with how to heal our trauma and how to rewire our nervous system and our old belief systems and do the shadow work that's necessary in order for us to clear energetically and elevate our frequency from those dense and more stuck type of energies. And it's based on learning how to work with our frequency. And we can do this by tuning in mindfully to our own energetic consciousness. And the best way in, this is not the only way, but any idea that I am going to bring forward, I just want to say that as I bring these ideas and concepts forward, I don't bring them forward thinking this is the only way or the only path or that this is the only amount of knowledge. What I'm hoping to do is to inspire you to engage with what is meaningful to you. Energy is a language and spoken as archetypes and symbology, is very much at play when we're discussing how energy works and how we can work with our own energetic consciousness in such a way that we can embolden the frequency that we hold and we each carry. And many of us right now are really being loudly called and have been being loudly called forward to step forward in a new way, to share our light on behalf of humanity. We know that there is a deeper purpose at play right now, for humanity's betterment, and that's really why we're here. And I made a promise to my guides that I have not yet fulfilled, and I'm here to do that, and I'm here to do it for you all, with love. because we all hope for a much better world for our children than what is currently being witnessed around us. And that can be very hard to live with when it continues to impact you in such a way that your nervous system is constantly in this reactive state. And so I'm basically here to also say that in addition to support tools, I just recommend that you mindfully consider, what is my energetic reactivity right now? Am I in a state of fight, flight, or freeze? And when I encounter information that comes to me about the current events of the world and news items, that type of thing, because everything is so charged right now. There's such incredible polarity that we are working with. When that comes into play, before taking that action step, it's very important that we're checking in with our energy to see, are we taking an action step from a reactive state, or are we taking an action step from a very grounded, heart expansive, embodied state of being that is truly grounded in love, grounded in our heart, and in its highest expression, the highest expression that we are able to give in that moment. I feel that each one of our individual sense of alignment and integrity and clarity is coming into focus. And there's more of almost this sense of pressure to prioritize stepping forward as our most authentic selves at this moment, to really create from that space. And that does require we drop the masks, that we drop the fear, that we recognize the humanity of one another and take energetic accountability for the times that we have not. And then allow ourselves to forgive those circumstances that either we have not stepped forward as our own best and highest version of self, or that we have maybe participated in circumstances or decisions or actions that maybe we now think differently. It's okay to be in a new space and give ourselves that forgiveness, give ourselves that compassion, that acceptance, if that's something that's true for you. I think there is a lot of cognitive dissonance going on for a lot of folks who weren't seeing this initially and now are seeing something differently. And so if there's anyone out there that's listening to this, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for listening now. And don't beat yourself up. We can never go back and change the past ever, no matter what it is. We're hoping that we could do differently. We can only take accountability now. We can learn from the past and choose differently going forward. And if we are so motivated, we can take new and different action steps to communicate where we are now, given the circumstances, right? So I really just wanted to jump on here for a little while. This is probably going to be kind of a clunky video. I'm just sitting here in my corner having a little coffee. Thinking about you all, thinking about the world, thinking about how we just moved through summer solstice and right now are in this period energetically where symbolically it's normally the brightest of the bright, the lightest of the light, things coming into a culmination of harvest. And right now, what we're harvesting is shadow work. there's this incredible tension in the sky. um, Jupiter squaring, it's still in the air, but on solstice, Jupiter was squaring both Saturn and Neptune and Aries, and it's just this incredible tension of what no longer serves us, what no longer holds us properly, what needs to be cleansed and cleared from our life in order for us to receive that elevation in life and light. So solstice was really coming through as this time of a lot of energetic downloads. You might have been experiencing a lot of tired energy, sleepy energy, and there is definitely a stress and a tension point present here right now with that energy of the square that's creating this sense of needing to take an action step, needing to shift the energy, to clear further. So if you'd like any help with that, those are my gifts. And I want to share them with all of you. And I want to do it in a way that we can all reach out and find some support tools, regardless of your budget. I've been going around in circles. I do admit that I've made my own mistakes in trying to stand up in this way because I am just a one person show, and I'm more about the healing, the energy work, the connection, and I'm less about the techie side of things. But I'm moving everything over to Patreon now, and we're going to start there. And there's going to be a free healing space, as well as that space will be donation based, so it can be free if that's what you need it to be, and I want you to use it if that's what you need it to be, because this is meant for all of us to basically tune into our own unique way that we can each come into our own energetic heart-centered frequency, and to hold that frequency and to use that from a space of love, from a space of healing what is going on currently around us. And we very much are manifesting in the shadows. We're manifesting in the dark right now. We're creating a new world, new earth in the dark, from the rubble of what is falling down around us, from the rubble of what does not serve humanity, what does not work. And it's really going to take those of you who are feeling the call to do this work to step very firmly into your knowingness that this is your purpose, that you signed up to be here right now for just this reason. And it's go time, babies. It's go time. It's time for us to really bring forward a sense of unity and love, and to not settle for anything less than what we know not only ourselves but our families and our loved ones deserve. So with that, I'm going to drop some links below. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you're all doing good, and I'm going to be bringing us some more content soon. Bye.